Greetings. This is kind of just a roundup of stuff for myself. Kind of 11/30, November 30 through December 4th. My niece's birthday, Rachel. Happy birthday, Rachel. Hope we talk again someday. All right, cool. Let's see. What do we got here? Arabella Advisors, Rockefeller Ford, Buffett Gates, Soros, behind funding for Mark Elias, Steele Dossier. Don't want to make a note of that. Behind funding, Mark Elias, Steele Dossier, part of the Arabella team. Arabella controlled what the DNC did, the 2018 election cycle. New Venture Fund, I remember big support for Hillary Clinton. They were really trying to figure out who they were going to push after Hillary, and I think they really got behind Kamala. The Arabella Empire remains the 800-pound gorilla of American politics. Bill Gates, Hewlett Foundation 1630 Fund, George Soros, Open Society, administered by Arabella Advisors. 1630 Fund, Hopewell Fund, New Venture Fund, Windward Fund, North Fund. Go to www.1630fund.org for more information. Not required to disclose donors. Launch, course creator, incubator program, nonprofit. Chorus, mission to support content creators. Okay, so that's Arabella Advisors. Just more stuff to look up later about Arabella. That's 2.4 billion 2020 election cycle. Zuck bucks manipulate election offices. NYT, Arabella funnels hundreds of millions of dollars through a daisy chain of groups supporting Democrats and progressive causes, founded by Eric Kessler. The Left, Dark Money ATM, website Influence Watch, I think is a good one. Anyway, Demand Justice, Democracy Alliance. Okay. Doing business as DBAs, a lot of that. I know about that. Doing business as. You do a lot of stuff you don't have to disclose. No donor needs to disclose their donation. All right, Arabella Advisors, LLC. All right, so that's good. I just kept running into them when I'm doing research or trying to scratch the surface of who's behind something. And every time I detected these strange quote unquote protests after Trump got elected this time, there's a bunch of like kind of faux tests. They weren't real protests, but they were really well attended. People really got into them because they hate Trump. And it was all about anti-Trump, Elon Musk, and this thing over here we don't like is racist and bad, and everything that happened before that was okay. We don't notice Anthony Blinken or West Exec or Raytheon or the wars that were already started or already going on. The collapse and capture of much of our democracy, quote unquote. Forgot about all that. Now we're just hyper focused on Trump and Elon. And who did that was Arabella Advisors. Well, I kept searching, kept finding behind the. They made it all about Elon for a minute. You remember that? And so there was all these protests at Tesla dealerships. And then there was the hands off. And then there was the No Kings. And they were all tied to the 1630 Fund and this Arabella Advisors group, which, by the way, is kind of a front for the CIA. So what they like to do is create like a faux opposition. They just stir up the people. They did that in Ukraine leading up to the 2014 Maidan coup against Yanukovych. that installed Zelensky. That was a color revolution, and they are doing some of the same techniques here. That's one of the things I wanted to get to, where I'm going with some of this research eventually, and I hope somebody can follow through more than I can, better than I can. Because there's something here, there's really a lot about this, and it feels like a color revolution is happening here. Unfortunately, this last weekend, a CI trained asset from Afghanistan, kind of was MK Ultra'd since his youth and involved in brutal things and desensitized as a human. That was the person that shot the two National Guard personnel. They were all searched for in Google by some same people before that event happened, the shooting in DC that happened over this weekend. And the way that was kind of covered, that's part of. So the color revolution is destabilization at home, traumatizing events, false information, hatred, destabilization, pamphlets and stuff about the elected leader, whoever that is. In this case, Yanukovych. One of the early days in Iran, Mossadegh, right? So you kind of got Arbenz in Guatemala, Mossadegh in Iran, this kind of thing, and you create this foment. You add to whatever their opposition is. A lot of times it's elements with money that we're going to do good, and whatever corrupt deal is being made with whatever foreign entity. Like the rich Cubans, they hated the revolution, right? The communist revolution, because they were doing really good under the Bautista regime, even though it was super corrupt and super horrible to most local Cubans. The super rich ones that are now in Florida, Cubans, they of course loved it, back that corrupt thing under the Bautista regime, and they hated it. What happened with, Fidel Castro, not good. So, same thing. Once, Arbenz, popular in Guatemala, I'm going to take over the United Fruit Company. I'll pay them exactly what they said the land is worth, and just they can go away. It's going to be Guatemala now. He gets taken out. And this is happening now. But on a broader and a different kind of scale, when we're doing these regime change operations now, color revolutions, but definitely what happened in Ukraine 2014 with the, stoking up the dissent. Victoria Nuland is the one who decides it's going to be Zelensky, that he gets installed, color revolution. Here in the United States, just boom, Trump gets voted in, faux populist leader. He's not really a populist. He's not really your friend, by the way, if you're working class American. Sorry, you're screwed over. But he appears that, and he takes on that kind of persona, and he's going to go against the Democrat, CIA, John Brennan establishment. John Brennan hates him. And so it's kind of like this pissing match between John Brennan and Donald Trump, with John Brennan running about everything, and now fomenting a color revolution at home. So it's going to be a lot of stoked up racism, all this talk about like why you hate white people kind of thing. A lot of that is coming from them, from the CIA. A lot of this focus on celebrity, personalities, everything that the No Kings is, everything that it does is focused on celebrity tit for tat. And there's no really focus on the real establishment, what's really happening, long-term trends, none of that. Let's focus you away from that and get you focused on Trump, and he's the whole problem. Everything that's happening, it's all him. There's no one else, it's just Trump. And he's the popular elected guy. We hate him, and you're gonna hate him. You're gonna hate yourself, and color revolution. And it's just so scary, it's so destabilizing. I feel like there's gotta be, we're not quite there yet, right? So that means there's gotta be more attacks. There's gonna have to be some weird, fake, crazy white person attacks a black church or something like that. Having an Israeli operation kill Charlie Kirk, and then blaming that on trans people, kind of getting the trans people involved in that dialogue of why Charlie Kirk got shot right in front of us while he's trying to just debate at a university. That has color revolution vibe to it. And ever since that happened, my spidey senses have been up. I've been like, oh God, we're in a new phase here of, just trying to assassinate Trump is one thing. Trying to impeach him a few times, just running pure hate on Trump all the time, 24/7, taking over NPR, pure hate for Trump, just for 24/7. NPR can't mention the name of John Brennan. It can't seem to do it. It can't mention Pfizer or Moderna or Raytheon or Bibi Netanyahu as they don't seem to mention real players with what's really going on. They're hyper focused on Trump and everything Trump is doing. And their ratings are probably pretty good while they're opposing Trump also. Trump is good TV. Loving Trump, hating Trump, good for ratings. Bad for mental clarity, unfortunately. So color revolution, Arabella Advisors, that was the point. That was the thing I wanted to talk about. So if there's a good researcher out there, somebody, want to pitch this story, I got a story for you. It starts with learned helplessness, John Brennan. CIA psychological torture method to make you forget, make you helpless, make you depend on them. That carries into the response to COVID. It is basically a learned helplessness operation on the whole population. We never recover from that. We never get out of that. We never get clear answers of what happened. People die. Young people are given vaccines. It gave them myocarditis. Things are happening. People are dying. No one cares. Old people are dying alone on intubators. We get no answer, no response to that. Pfizer, in control. No problem. National Pfizer Radio, NPR. And still happening. Still sad. And, I just wanted to bring this up today because I do feel like there is a color revolution happening. All right.